showed you the Heisman odds a week or two ago, and they had Garrett Nussmeier as the second favorite behind Manning. So Brian Kelly's very excited to have Garrett back at school.
He is no athlete, in my opinion. You can quote me on that. Like, he is a clumsy white dude, and he sucked. I'm being nice now. Now all of a sudden you're talking about him being great? Oh, slow down there, Coach.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Do you think that there's a possibility that we could be looking at DeBoer wondering if he's the long-term answer at coach for the Tide?
I'm starting to feel like Alabama, I can't believe I'm saying this, Craig, is a sleeper. Fourth easiest schedule in the SEC this year. Ryan Williams is back. I think the friendly, these early season games against Florida State and Wisconsin, that is friendly for Alabama.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
So you're going to have the suck uniforms the entire season, but 3 games will give you with the best uniform. Those are the issues I have. The powder blues out for the Chargers. That should be every game. The Miami Dolphins old uniforms that they throw it back to. That should be your uniform, not the trash you wear now. The Patriots. You ever see them throw back with a little football player in the helmet? It is beautiful. Yeah. But let's keep the trash uniform.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Obviously, he didn't do great in the last 2 majors, and we're going home here. We're going to Northern Ireland, Royal Portage. This is Rory's the reason why we're going here. Got off to a rough start, throwing his tee shot out of bounds back in 2019. I think he'll be ready. Not yet ready to call him the winner. I still have a couple of days before I do that, but it is a home game for him. And as you saw, based on this weekend, he is playing well.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Hello and welcome to a Wednesday live right here on the Early Line on SportsGrid and all across the SportsGrid network. That includes sportsgrid.com/watch, where you can find your favorite destination and consume everything all across the grid. He is Donnie right side. I am Ben Stevens, live together for the next 3 hours up until 11 a.m. Eastern time, bright and early on this Wednesday morning to recap a historic Midsummer Classic, the 2025 MLB All-Star Game, featuring a tiebreaker swing-off for the first time ever in the history of the Midsummer Classic, and a couple of Schwar bombs in Atlanta. A lot to break down here at the All-Star break around Major League Baseball, where now everybody has 2 full days off before the second half or so of the season resumes in full on a Friday. Plenty to look back on. We've got 5 games tonight in the WNBA, but more injury news, sadly, for Indiana's Caitlin Clark as the WNBA gets ready to enter All-Star Weekend at the conclusion of our 5 games today. DRS, plenty to discuss around the National Football League. Contracts being signed, contracts that need to be signed outside the nation's capital, as our first set of veterans today for the LA Chargers show up to training camp as well. Plenty to break down over these 3 hours, even though it's hump week here on the Early Line.
Yeah, and again, here's the good part about this is we're 2 days down, and now we're officially over the hump here, Ben, at 8:03 in the morning, which means we're a couple minutes on the downside of the roller coaster, and thank goodness, because if we have a show that's dedicated to reviewing an All-Star game that doesn't mean anything, that took 7.5 hours, so be it. We're in it for the fight. This is what we do to get the people to Friday, where then you can say, you know what? There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Football season is here. You're going to see also that Major League Baseball is back in full effect. We're going to talk the WNBA. We're going to wrap up the summer leagues, and away we go. Can you people tough it out for 2 more days of nothing going on in sports? We're almost there, Ben. We're almost there.
I'm not so worried, DRS, about the fans, the viewers, the audience here on the SportsGrid. I'm more worried about my co-host, Donnie Rightside, but at least it starts with some optimism. We will have a full preview, by the way, of the Open Championship that will start late night on a Wednesday, really early morning hours of a Thursday across the pond in Northern Ireland, but an early start here stateside. Our guy, Keith Stewart, will join us later on throughout the show. So there is some action even tomorrow in the sports landscape. But DRS, let's start with a historic MLB All-Star Game. For the first time ever, a swing-off tiebreaker that goes the way of Kyle Schwarber and the National League. The NL should have ran away with this in regulation, up 6-zip, jumping on Tarek Skubal in the first inning, adding plenty more in the home half of the sixth. The AL responds right away in the seventh. They tie it in the ninth in regulation at 6-all. We go to that swing off, and the National League wins it 4 home runs to 3. Kyle Schwarber hitting 3 long balls in all 3 of his swings in that swing off to win MVP honors at the Midsummer Classic and deliver an All-Star Game victory to the National League, DRS, for the second time in the last 12 years.
Yeah, and you know what would have been interesting? Like, the National League never would have won another one ever again. Like, let's imagine 6-0 lead for the National All-Stars. They get it tied up and then lose in a swing-off. You might as well just end the All-Star game. Like, National League, we're both going to play as American League for the rest of the way out here, even though we are the National League. How could you blow that 6-0 lead at that point? But they did. Schwarber comes to the rescue. And I guess it was fun because I was fast asleep hours, before that swing-off ever happened. So I guess it was good for the people. Was anybody left around in the stadium waiting around for that long in an All-Star game?
Some of the players already left DRS to enjoy their 2 days of vacation before we resume on the other side of the All-Star break. But the festivities were fun last night. I would say the All-Star break in Atlanta and our All-Star festivities were a resounding hit for Major League Baseball, at least based on what an exhibition game can be. We'll talk more about the Midsummer Classic in just a matter of moments. The New York Jets 2 days ago inked Garrett Wilson, their stud wide receiver, after his first 3 seasons in the NFL, to a large contract. And then on the other side of the football, yesterday they extend the man known as Sauce Gardner, a 4-year, $120.4 million deal. That's more than $30 million per year by 0.1 decibels, making Sauce Gardner, DRS, now the highest paid corner in all the National Football League.
I think organizations are waking up to the fact, outside of, not smart teams like the Bengals, the minute your superstar player is available for a contract, just reset the market with him, because within like 48 hours, it seems like that would be a bargain. So the people holding out and not paying, all you do is cost yourself money. You take a look at some of the other players around the league that signed blockbuster deals over the past year. They're not even blockbuster anymore because they're blown out of the water.
Yep.
The minute your franchise guy comes available, max him out like a credit card, and you will save money long-term. Good on the Jets.
Let's get DRS in the front office or the league office as a commissioner. This guy knows what he is talking about. Patrick Mahomes, happy yesterday, not only named that top quarterback in the NFL by the execs, the GMs, the coaches, and the scouts, but the guy that protects him in the right guard spot, Trey Smith, also signing a large contract extension yesterday with the Chiefs, a 4-year deal, $94 million, including $70 million guaranteed, DRS. That is the highest ever payday for an interior offensive lineman in NFL history.
Good football player. We'll see if it does pay off, but you certainly want to protect your main asset, which is Patrick Mahomes, and also understand this. You can't go into the regular season with a guy on a franchise tag. It's just not smart to have $25 million plus tied up in your salary cap, where now he says, whoa, did you see the deal they gave him, Donnie? Yeah, it's going to be less than $25 million a deal when you spread it out here. Smart move for the Chiefs. Never go into the season with a guy on a franchise tag. It's bad for business.
Financial flexibility, always a priority, which is why Terry McLaurin is looking all around and like, what else do I have to do for this Washington franchise after 6 highly successful seasons to get my contract extension? McLaurin telling reporters on Tuesday he is frustrated by the lack of progress in his contract negotiations with the Commanders.
This one's interesting because Terry McLaurin, like you figure like all these wide receivers like resetting the market. And it's like, hey, Washington reached out like a 3-year, $65 million deal and has never reached back out. Like that's eye-opening because that doesn't say like, well, we know Jamar Chase is probably going to make more money than any other wide receiver ever. We just have to find what that number is. It sounds like Washington's like, yeah, we like you, but we don't like you all that much.
It's a really interesting tune, DRS. We'll hear from Terry McLaurin a little bit later on throughout the show. A huge game last night inside TD Garden, that being in Boston where the Celtics play, where the Fever matched up against the Connecticut Sun. More struggles for Caitlin Clark, who exits the game in the final minute, but when she was on the floor, a plus-minus of plus 21. Her Fever win by 8, 85-77. But DRS, she re-aggravated that groin injury. The Fever set to play tonight in Brooklyn against the reigning champs in the Liberty.
You just got to shut it down. Like when you rush back one injury with soft tissue, your body gets out of alignment and you see it go from the quad to the groin and who knows what next at this point here. If you're still having those issues, I know she's the cash cow in the WNBA, but come on now. You got to shut it down for at least 5, 6, 7, 8 games, even if it means the Fever are going to miss the playoffs. You got to do what's right by the player. Can't keep forcing her out there.
All-Star break starts tonight. We're expecting to see Clark in Indy in the three-point contest. Scotty Scheffler gets introspective. We'll hear from world number 1 ahead of the Open Championship later on. Arch Manning at SEC Media Days, DRS. Were you taking a peek?
And by the way, Scotty Scheffler used to have the commercials, the most interesting man in the world. Scotty Scheffler, the most boring man in the world. Thanks for your thoughts, Scotty.
Can't wait for DRS to react to that later. More from the Midsummer Classic next.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Lost Pages. Let's get lucky.
historic night of the 2025 Major League Baseball All-Star Game, the Midsummer Classic, midway through July to cap off the All-Star festivities inside Truist Park this week. Why was it historic? Because we saw double-digit runs? Yeah, kind of, because the National League finally won an All-Star Game? Also, yeah, but more than anything, because of the fashion that the Midsummer Classic concluded in last night. The first ever tiebreaker swing-off in the history of the All-Star Game, and also the first ever time the ABS system, challenging balls and strikes, was utilized in the All-Star Game as well. DRS, it was actually a night of some great theatrics in Atlanta. The National League in the home half of the first, jumping all over Tarek Skubal to RBI double for the D-backs All-Star in Ketel Marte, scores both Shohei Ohtani and the hometown guy, Ronald Acuna Jr. Polar Bear Pete Alonso, a 3-run home run a little bit later on, followed by Corbin Carroll in the 6th. The National League led 6-0 after 6 frames. But wake up the AL. They respond with a 4-run inning in the 7th, the first of a couple of RBIs for Bobby Witt Jr., a 3-run shot out of the A's Brent Rooker, who was hitting a ton of homers in Atlanta this week. And then in the top of the 9th, the American League ties it at 6-all, forcing extras, but not innings, that swing off tiebreaker. If you were not awake and you are wondering what that looked like, each team, DRS, the AL and the NL, selected 3 big bats to go out there and take 3 swings, try to hit as many home runs in those 3 chances as possible. First, the American League, Brent Rooker, 2 home runs out of 3. Then the National League stepped up there. Who was it for the NL first? Because it was Kyle Schwarber. Oh, it was Kyle Stowers, the All-Star for the Marlins. He hit 1. Or 2, I think he did. No, 1, because it was 2-1. And then DRS, Randy Arozarena walked up there for the AL. He hit 1 home run. So the American League led 3-1 into the swing-off tiebreaker. Enter Kyle Schwarber, who in all 3 swings hit 3 home runs to put the NL up by 1. And then the Rays, Aranda had a shot at the end. Only could hit a fly ball into left center field. The National League wins it in that swing-off. If you're tired from that entirety of the recap, winning it 4-3, yeah, it was a late night in the ADRS. A historic night at the All-Star Game. The National League victorious in the historic swing-off.
MVP. That was Kyle Schwarber last night going yard, which is what he does. A couple of Schwarber bombs late in the game to lift his side to victory, and everybody went home happy yesterday. Well, maybe not the Braves fans overall, whereas if you watch the opening of the telecast where they're introducing the starting lineups and the reserve guys, everybody from the NL East getting roundly booed, and including most of the New York Yankees. But Schwarber was the hero last night that they needed in quote-unquote extra innings here. It's nice to see that the game doesn't end in a tie. It's nice to see that they have an interesting way to end it, but also you might want to end that thing a couple of hours earlier than it actually ended, so most people who were staying up or trying to stay up could have watched Kyle Schwarber hit 3 home runs to lift it all. So All-Star games are meant to be a little bit longer at that point. Got back to the days of Sunday Night Baseball between the Yankees and the Red Sox that seemingly started at 7 o'clock and ended at 1:02 in the morning. It's interesting to see it play out that way. But do we need all of the pomp and circumstances that causes to end that late? But Kyle Schwarber won it. There it is. He's the MVP. And say what you want about that. Like, oh, wait a second. He's the MVP because he's had a couple extra swings and home runs, but the guys in the middle of the lineup, in the middle of the game that were doing damage didn't get the same respect. That's what happens. MVP moments are usually typically late in the game and forgotten about what happened in the first 5 to 6 innings.
It comes in those crucial and clutch moments, as we have seen oftentimes. You saw Jonathan Aranda there in the second clip. That high fly ball to left center, unable to clear the wall in any of his 3 swings in that final and third spot in the tiebreaker swing-off for the AL. Pete Alonso was due up for the National League, the final hitter of the night if the NL needed it. But because the game was in Atlanta, in a National League ballpark inside Truist Park, and the NL had the lead into Aranda at the dish for AL, we didn't need to see the polar bear. If he went up there, DRS, and had to win it for the National League, he would have won All-Star Game MVP because he also, during regulation, had a 3-run shot that really opened up the game for the NL, taking that 5-zip lead in the 6th, followed by a solo shot from Corbin Carroll that made it 6-zip. But I think in terms of an exhibition game, right? The All-Star Game is set to highlight the best of baseball. It is the closest form in an All-Star Game in any of the sports that we have. The Pro Bowl game's a joke. The All-Star Game glorified layup lines and nobody really cares, despite the incentives they have tried to use to make it look like even a competitive pickup basketball game. This year, the National Hockey League didn't have an All-Star Game. It was the Four Nations face-off. So still for me, DRS, when you have the kind of same format or a similar feel to at least seeing a baseball game, all 9 guys at the diamond, best pitchers in the world against the best hitters in the world, and you have some drama, a 6-0 lead and a dramatic comeback from the American League and a swing-off tiebreaker, I would consider the All-Star Game a success. Really, the 2 nights of festivities in Atlanta with a great show in the Home Run Derby and Cal Raleigh Big Dumper going home a champion. A pretty good week in All-Star festivities inside Truist Park.
It wasn't bad. It really wasn't. I thought the Home Run Derby was very good. The All-Star Game did have some excitement and end 1-0 at that point, which some people might have been excited for if they had the under 7 in that game. You had some theatrics at the end. It's the summer. Kids are able to stay up if they want to. It's just a long night overall. But if we do agree, like the best version of the All-Star Game in sports, it's still Major League Baseball. Like from the time that they show up on the Home Run Derby, people are going to watch, tune in. It's interesting to watch. Then you have the entire day of All-Star Day, which starts with the red carpet. Everybody comes with their families decked out in some fashion. You play it into the game itself. You have some pregame music. You have the starting lineups, which usually in the All-Star games for me, starting lineups are 50% of the fun. Hey, let's see who's in. Let's see who the crowd cheers for and who can be that all-star of the night and win MVP. So I think you got everything you wanted, and also great weather in Atlanta in a great sports town. So I think it went very well for Major League Baseball, as well as it could have, right, Ben?
Yeah, absolutely so, DRS. We'll continue our all-star reactions as well. Listen, it is always going to be a glorified exhibition that is meant to celebrate and highlight the best of baseball, the best players in the sport for all 30 clubs around MLB. So we'll continue that conversation and tie a bow on the All-Star break in Atlanta next.
And I showed you the Heisman odds a week or two ago, and they had Garrett Nussmeier as the second favorite behind Manning. So Brian Kelly's very excited to have Garrett back at school.
He is no athlete, in my opinion. You can quote me on that. Like, he is a clumsy white dude, and he sucked. I'm being nice now. Now all of a sudden you're talking about him being great? Oh, slow down there, Coach.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Do you think that there's a possibility that we could be looking at the board wondering if he's the long-term answer at coach for the Tide?
I'm starting to feel like Alabama, I can't believe I'm saying this, Craig, is a sleeper. 4th easiest schedule in the SEC this year. Ryan Williams is back. I think the friendly, these early season games against Florida State and Wisconsin, that is friendly for Alabama.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
So you're going to have the suck uniforms the entire season, but 3 games will give you with the best uniform. Those are the issues I have. The powder blues out for the Chargers. That should be every game. The Miami Dolphins old uniforms that they throw it back to. That should be your uniform, not the trash you wear now. The Patriots. You ever see them throw back with a little football player in the helmet? It is beautiful. But let's keep the trash uniform.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Obviously, he didn't do great in the last 2 majors, and we're going home here. We're going to Northern Ireland, Royal Portage. Rory's the reason why we're going here. Got off to a rough start, throwing his tee shot out of bounds back in 2019. I think he'll be ready. Not yet ready to call him the winner. I still have a couple of days before I do that, but it is a home game for him. And as you saw, based on this weekend, he is playing well.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Recapping and our final reactions to the All-Star festivities of the last 48 hours in Atlanta. Home Run Derby, a smashing, yes, pun intended, success, with Big Dumper Cal Raleigh going home a champion. Not often do you see the home run leader at the break compete in the Derby, let alone win the Home Run Derby. How about Clayton Kershaw getting Cal Raleigh to line out on a very hard hit ball and a great defensive play by Kyle Tucker in the second inning last night of the Cubbies, and then walking into the dugout when he was mic'd up yelling, "Suck it, Big Dumper! Suck it, Big Dumper!" I mean, that's baseball at its best. A couple of trends to note from last night as well. Again, the National League winning the Midsummer Classic is not something we see very often. Just the second victory for the NL in the last 12 years. Just the fifth win for the National League since 1997 in our prior now 28 All-Star games. And offense in regulation, let alone the historic swing-off tiebreaker, also a rarity for a Midsummer Classic. Total last night was 7. We got to the over early. We had 12 runs in regulation. Just the second time since 2008. Now, in the last 17 years, the All-Star game has been contested. We have seen a game with double-digit runs. 12 last night. That is 10 or more. Kyle Schwarber winning the MVP of the Midsummer Classic in the All-Star game. In regulation, 2 plate appearances, or maybe even 3. Didn't do much, but of course, the hero in the swing-off. This is the guy known for his Schwar bombs. Maybe not the highest average ever, might take a couple too many Ks, but when he can hit homers in the way he displayed last night in that historic tiebreaker, that's why you win the accolades. 3 swings, 3 pitches, 3 home runs to deliver the victory to the National League in the All-Star game. The question has to be asked, however. Polar Bear Pete of the New York Mets, who hit a 3-run homer in the 6th inning in regulation and was due up in that third and final spot for the NL. If Jonathan Aranda, the All-Star from the Rays, who was batting 3rd for the American League in the swing-off tiebreaker, would have connected even on 1 to force Pete to step up, he probably would have hit a home run and probably would have won MVP honors. Schwarber pregame a 30-1 price. Kind of a nice send-off for a Philadelphia Philly, as the 2026 Midsummer Classic is where? At the bank in Philadelphia. So DRS, overall, we have talked about, if you're Major League Baseball, the festivities of the 48 hours in Atlanta. For All-Star game, All-Star week, All-Star break, I thought was a success. Some late game drama in the actual All-Star game. Our home run leader in Big Dumper Cal Raleigh becoming more of a brighter star around the national landscape and winning the Home Run Derby. Overall, what were your thoughts on the past 48 hours or so inside Truist Park?
Look, I didn't mind it. And sometimes that's all you can say is like, well, that's not a ringing endorsement. Yes, it is. You ever hear your boy DRS talk about All-Star games in any format? He absolutely hates them. But you turn on the Home Run Derby, you know what you're getting here. Long home runs, a lot of fun. I wish there was more stars in the All-Star game Home Run Derby. Yes, I do. But Cal Raleigh, shout out. This guy is leading Major League Baseball in home runs, and he showed out at the All-Star break and said, you know what? I am the home run king, and I'm going to prove it here in this Home Run Derby. Then we get to the All-Star game, and the guys generally enjoyed it. And you know what? You said don't like ticky-tack things or, hey, mic these guys up. I actually liked mic'd up Clayton Kershaw yesterday. Yeah. The dude was just out there like, hey, this is a pickup game, it feels like. I'm going to talk some smack to the guys who are talking in my ear, talk some smack to my catcher, and when I finish my inning off, I'm going to talk smack when I get in the dugout and get some high five on my curtain call after only throwing the 2 batters here. I actually did enjoy that. You know what you get out of the All-Star game, and I thought the All-Star game came off really well in Atlanta, as I said. There were some parts that are just a little bit too long for me, yes, but just the pomp and circumstance of an All-Star game, you can put with it in Major League Baseball, Ben. Like, it's actually enjoyable.
Yeah, I agree, DRS, right? All-Star games all around sports have started to lose their luster. We have asked basically in everything. The NBA, certainly where the Pro Bowl games are now in the NFL, even on the ice. Is it worth contesting this exhibition? Does it really celebrate the sport the way these league offices want to and intend to? Should they do what DRS has recommended? A large steak dinner and a getaway at the end of the year.
Love that.
For the guys that earn that all-star distinction based on their production and performances? Perhaps. But I thought this one in Atlanta And the Major League Baseball All-Star Game brings in that nostalgia and does celebrate the stars on this stage. I thought it was pretty fun the past 2 days. By the way, weren't you wearing a blue shirt to start the show?
Yeah, man. Hey, look, Superman's got to get changed in the phone booth every once in a while. You never know with me, man. Come on.
Last week, Luke Wilson reposted a picture of the Lions practicing, and he goes, "Please tell me this isn't their practice field. Do they practice in a public park?" And Farrell and Lodge, he said, no, they have a little facility, but it's open to the public. No, it's a public park. Like, it basically, like, there's like kids play basketball, like, yeah, no, it's bad. I looked, I'm like, dear God.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The tennis players are just the worst. They're just the worst.
I do that after I get a parlay. I'm falling to the ground. I'm excited. I'm like praising the Lord. Win a parlay. Come on. We're allowed to celebrate.
I'd rather, it's okay if you hit a parlay, yes. But if you win the match, no. The player can't do that. The bettor can. It's as simple as that.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
So the All-Star break for everybody officially here in Major League Baseball. Even those who spent the past 48 hours in Atlanta now get 2 full days off until the second half of the season resumes in full on a Friday. So DRS, here in this month of July, as we have coined it, a football month through and through. Yep. Let's talk a little bit of the news we have received this week around the National Football League. Today, on this Wednesday, the Chargers, who sent their rookies to camp on a Saturday afternoon, will be the first team officially of our 32 clubs around the NFL to send the vets to camp. We'll talk a little bit more about the Bolts in some style upgrades, downgrades.
When are they in? When are they in? When's the full squad getting in? Like, when are we kicking the doors down out there in L.A.? What's that day? Today it is?
Today.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Let's go. Next 3 hours, all Chargers. Come on now. Let's celebrate it. Now I'm good. I didn't hear that.
Now,
I didn't hear when it was coming.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the Bolts also, DRS, releasing some new uniform upgrades, downgrades.
Yeah.
That's what the fashion police, Donnie Rightside, will tell us a little bit later on. This weekend, the Lions will send their rookies to camp. The veterans will report in a few days after that as well. Or maybe Detroit sending the rookies as well today. The Chargers and the Lions competing in the Hall of Fame game, which is when? Our first NFL football game of the year is when? 2 weeks from tomorrow, on the final day of this football month of July. And Donnie, it's one of those things that you see. The summer break in the NFL, the offseason at times feels short and like a sprint. But once you are getting closer to training camp, and a week from today, basically everybody around the NFL will send their rookies and their vets to camp Wednesday, July 23rd. You start to pick it up in terms of some contract negotiations and some deals getting done. That has been the story early this week in New York for the New York Jets. 2 days ago, the extension for Garrett Wilson. 4 years, $130 million, a highly paid wide receiver. The ninth wideout now to earn more than $30 million per year, at least, in what that new extension is going to deliver. And then yesterday, the Jets say, how about the other guy we drafted in the top 10 in 2022 that also won Rookie of the Year, but on the defensive side of the ball in that debut season? Sauce Gardner gets paid in a big way. A 4-year, $120.4 million deal that is $30.1 million per year in AAV, making Gardner now the highest paid cornerback in the National Football League.
Good, and he should be here. Next man up, next good cornerback up, next good wide receiver up, next good quarterback up, resetting the market, getting paid. That's what the goal is. It's when your turn to get paid, you get paid. And in 24 to 48 hours, or whether it's 2 months or 3 months, you will no longer be the highest paid cornerback in football. Somebody will surpass you. That's just the way it is. But let's look at this, Ben, from a Jets optic here, because I like to use other teams as well. You got to keep the guys that are most important to you happy and understand what that dynamic of the locker room is. Because the guys are there to win football games, yes. There's a lot of pride in the sport. I understand that. But you know what else there's a lot of pride in? Does my team actually care about me the way I think I care about this football team? The reason I bring that up is, if you remember with the Philadelphia Eagles, Devontae Smith got that new contract. You know when Howie Roseman picked up the phone the minute that deal was done? Hey, AJ, love you, kid. Yours is on the way next. Okay, because it doesn't bring animosity, but players are players. Like, this guy just got paid. I think I'm even better than this guy. I should get a pay raise as well. Take care of it. So when you say, look, well, Donnie, they don't even compete at the same position, but they're on the same team. Young superstars on a team. You're getting filled up and your bucket is running over with money. Now the guy's like, I mean, it really is my turn to get paid as well. Take care of it right away. Like, that builds team camaraderie on the inside. Like, you know what? This organization has our back. We're not worried about getting paid next. Why did he get paid? I didn't get paid. If you deserve to get paid, a good organization will pay you and pay you swiftly here. You don't want to hear like Sauce go like, hey, man, I don't understand this. Like, wide receiver got paid, and now I'm stringing this out into the regular season. I'm up for an actual extension, and I didn't get one. Maybe they like him better than I do at this point. I love what the Jets did, because now when you enter into camp and the regular season, you're not getting those questions on a day-to-day basis. What puts superstar players' mind at ease? Getting paid. Now they can focus on the game itself and putting their bodies in harm's way like they do on a week-to-week basis. Good for the Jets. It's the way it's supposed to be done, Ben.
No doubt, DRS. You have to appreciate what new GM Darren Muji is doing in his first year in that front office for the New York Jets. Understanding who the young core is. Understanding who the young stars are for Gang Green, as they hope to finally snap a 14-year playoff drought. We'll talk about the Jets' outlook for 2025 in a matter of moments. But, DRS, we had 2 top 10 picks in 2022. Resounding successes from the very start and through their first 3 years in the NFL. Sauce Gardner, 4th overall, Defensive Rookie of the Year in that first season in 2022. Garrett Wilson, 10th overall pick. Offensive Rookie of the Year in that first season in 2022, and both have delivered since. Last year, you could argue, was Sauce's worst. It was the first time he was not an all-pro first-team selection at the cornerback spot, but still, of course, a highly productive player for this New York Jets team. And if you're trying to find those points of optimism for Gang Green, it is the young core. It is the young talent. Defensively, it's Quinnen Williams. It's Sauce Gardner. Offensively, it's Breece Hall. It's Garrett Wilson. And now you hope Justin Fields, reunited with his college teammate and good friend in Garrett Wilson, can be unlocked as well, who was a 11th overall pick back in 2021. Also, just from the financial perspective, DRS, because this is something I think we try to hammer home. I think a lot of players and a lot of fans look at what the NFL does, even with the increasing salary cap year in, year out. They're like, that's a lot of money. Why'd you pay this guy if he just finished year 3 and was under team control for the next 2 years as you picked up his 5th-year rookie option? You had him at a discounted rate. Go spend the money elsewhere. When you have financial flexibility and foresight, when you pay a guy, DRS, after year number 3, and you give him that large and record-setting contract extension based on the monetary figures, you can balance out that money over the final 2 years of that rookie deal. The discounted rate, the large rate, not nearly as much of a hit for the franchise overall in the next 4 or 5 seasons, where they can then go spend elsewhere to fill out the roster and make a more talented club. And Donnie, just to highlight your point, Joe Frizo just sent this to me moments ago. Patrick Surtain II made $24 million per year last season, signing a large contract extension entering 2024. At the time, he became the highest paid corner in the NFL. He goes out there and wins Defensive Player of the Year a season ago for the Broncos. But with the offseason extensions we have seen at the cornerback spot already this offseason, Surtain is now the 5th highest paid corner in the NFL. He was the highest paid just last summer, but that's how things work. So instead of having to meet the market, you set the market, and that's why Sauce Gardner got paid in the way he did.
Correct. Yes. Paying your super. And again, this doesn't work for everybody. It's like, hey, the starting quarterback's going to hold out. Oh, no, it's going to hurt our team. Oh, the third string quarterback wants more money. Yeah, cut that guy. Do you see where we're going at? Like, it only works with franchise players at the top of their game. You don't just want to pay everybody on your team record setting money. Like, hey, we've never paid a middle linebacker who only plays 6 snaps a game this amount of money. Now we're going to reset the bar. Your superstar players deserve to get paid. Those are the guys that are the driving force with your fan base, your football team, and the difference between wins and losses. When you look at the New York Jets, who's their best wide receiver? Yeah, it's Garrett Wilson. Pay the guy. He's young. He's in his prime. He's going to be there. Keep him happy and keep him healthy on the field. And the same thing with Sauce Gardner. I can never understand where some teams go about it and say, let's just keep stringing this out. Does the price of the brick ever get cheaper? Like the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott. Hey, you know what, Ben? If we hold out for 4 more years, we'll get him cheaper than we did today. No, you end up paying him more money than anybody's ever seen at a quarterback position when you could have nipped that in the bud 2 to 3 years earlier and maybe afforded yourself an extra offensive lineman, an extra cornerback, or an extra wide receiver. As you pointed out so astutely there with Denver, the best cornerback in the game got paid, highest paid. Now he's no longer there. Oh, look, we got a bargain because we paid him sooner than later, people. It's simple mathematics.
We're looking at you, Mike Brown in the Bengals front office. We're looking at you, Jerry Jones, who waits to the 11th hour for the drama always. Donnie, this could have happened with Micah Parsons last offseason, but you did not do it. It could have happened with Jamar Chase last offseason, and then you had to match the rest of the market to make Chase the highest paid wide receiver when you could have set the market. More around the NFL next.
Last week, Luke Wilson reposted a picture of the Lions practicing, and he goes, please tell me this isn't their practice field. Do they practice in a public park? And Farrell and Lodge said, no, they have a little facility, but it's open to the public. No, it's a public park. Like, it basically, like, there's like kids playing basketball, like, yeah, no, it's bad. I looked, I'm like, dear God.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all. It's
too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The tennis players are just the worst. They're just the worst.
I do that after I get a parlay. I'm falling to the ground. I'm excited. I'm like praising the Lord. Win a parlay. Come on. You're allowed to celebrate.
I'd rather, it's okay if you hit a parlay, yes. But if you win the match, no. The player can't do that, the bettor can. It's as simple as that.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
So the natural follow-up, DRS, to when you pay franchise-type players, how is that going to result in wins for the franchise? Just because Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson got their big paydays earlier this week, does it make the New York Jets more of a contender in the AFC East? Of course not. The win total for Gangrene under a rookie head coach in Aaron Glenn in his first year at the helm of his former franchise, also like Gardner and Wilson, was a first-round pick of the Jets back in the day, is 5.5. The over has the juice. DRS, 5 teams in the NFL have a win total of 5.5. 3 have hefty juice on the under. Giants, Saints, Browns. And the Jets and the Titans have juice on the over. I'm not so sure even if they go over DRS and end up as a 6-11 football team, it means 7, 8, 9 or a playoff spot. But I do believe this New York Jets team has a lot of young talent in its core. It is one of the reasons the last 2 off seasons we have sat here and talked about the Jets as an AFC contender with Aaron Rodgers at the quarterback spot because of all the talent elsewhere in the roster around the QB position. Is Justin Fields the guy to unlock it? We shall see. But I do believe the Jets can be a thorn in the side and a competitive football team, maybe covering a bunch of spreads booked as an underdog in 2025.
Yeah, why not? Because you're not in a tank for the Jets, which is good for Jets fans here, right? Because you just came off of, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers, a deep playoff, Super Bowl or bust. And boy, did it go bust quickly with Aaron Rodgers. Not really the fault of the team trying to put it together because they thought they were a quarterback short. Aaron Rodgers coming over. It would have been interesting to see that year number 1 before he got hurt. Let's just say he never got hurt, how that would have played out in his Jets' future. Would they make a playoff run? Would they win a playoff game? We never got to see that. Maybe we didn't see the best of Rodgers. But now understand this. The best of Rodgers, the best of Justin Fields, I really don't think it matters because you're changing the landscape of the locker room, which felt like it was a player's locker room, not necessarily a coach's locker room, if you will. Like Aaron Glenn is a player's coach. Make no mistake about it. He's coming in as, I'm the man. I deserve the respect. I'm going to call the shots. And you saw that right away, like, hey, Aaron Rodgers, fly in because I'm going to tell you face to face. I don't want you as my quarterback here unless you tell me something that's really spectacular. Aaron Rodgers didn't. He got booted out of that room. And away we move forward with Justin Fields at quarterback. The expectations for me should be 6 to 7 wins, which is a bad season for an NFL football team. But it just feels like sometimes, Ben, you want to set the foundation and say, here's how we're going to play football. Here's the new Jets way. Justin Fields, if you're a part of our future, show me this year you're a quality quarterback and we'll stick with you. If not, we know heading into the draft next year, we need to find ourselves a quarterback. But rule number 1 here is we're not going to get any back talk. We're not going to get any non-effort games. I'm bringing that Detroit grit into this locker room. I'm going to build it in that same fashion where nobody's going to be more physical than us. Nobody's going to be more prepared, and we'll leave our chips on the table.
Well said, DRS. Now let's go to Kansas City. Another record deal signed yesterday. The Chiefs inking their right guard, Trey Smith, who was previously placed under the franchise tag, but of course working to a long extension. 4-year, $94 million, $70 million guaranteed, both the most for an interior offensive lineman in the history of the NFL. Patrick Mahomes tweeted out a smiley face emoji yesterday afternoon for an O-line, DRS, that was banged up in Super Bowl 59 and exposed thoroughly by the Eagles. One of the cornerstones of it is that interior, and especially the right guard spot. Trey Smith deserves his payday and gets it.
Exactly. Deserves his payday and gets it, and not smart business if you don't sign this gentleman long term. Because what have we learned as well, Ben? Oh, let's head into the season on that franchise tag. Well, that's going to eat up about $25 million. You say, well, don't they already have their budget figured out? You know as well as I do, during the season, injuries happen. You need extra space here in your salary cap. Even if you want to extend guys into the future, it just makes some sense to have that cash on hand available. But also, if you did play out this season on his franchise tag at $25 million and he was an all-pro or a Pro Bowl type player again, you'd say, oh, man, we could have signed him to this, $90 million contract last year. That just ballooned to $105 million if we want him. And now if we want to franchise tag him again, he doesn't want to sign. That probably turns into $30+ million that eats up our salary cap. Good football players, sign them. That's why you have them on your football team. Don't play chicken with them like, oh, we'll hold out to the last minute. Nobody wins in that situation because the player in the back of his mind goes, now, you know what? I'm in conservation mode for myself. I want to make sure I play well this year, yes. But if I'm a little bit banged up, I'm not going out there and fighting in late November when we need this football game in freezing cold temperatures when I know I have to be a free agent. But you know when he will do that, Ben? when you take care of them in the preseason. He goes, you know what? It's my organization. This is my family. I'm going to put it all on the line. It's just smart business from all angles. It just is.
And Trey Smith has been a great find for Brett Veach in that KC front office, a day 2 pick, and now sees that second contract that he is very deserving of. A Pro Bowler last year for the first time in his 4-year NFL career. And DRS, one of the things you can ask about, because you just said it in terms of injuries, one of the top things you can ask for, especially for one of the big fellas, the hog mollies up front, is availability and to be out there. In his 4 years in the NFL, Trey Smith has started every game but one for Kansas City. 17 games as a rookie, 17 games in both 23 and 24, 16 games in 2022. I would have to go back and look if he missed that game due to injury or the Chiefs have already clinched the AFC West, so he sat out the finale or something of the sort. He is one of those staple pieces of that offensive line for KC, which of course was the main concern and priority for the Chiefs, falling in the way they did, DRS, against your Eagles in New Orleans. They were beat up along the O-line. Joe Thuney had to kick out to left tackle, and they got exposed. But if you're trying to build back that O-line as your priority this offseason, making sure Trey Smith, the right guard, and Creed Humphrey, the center, are a part of that foundation, and making sure they are both taken care of. Of course, job well done by the Chiefs front office.
Yep, that's the way it gets done. And Brett Veach, by the way, do you know he's a really good high school football player, really good running back in the state of Pennsylvania? So guy knows football. You can't go up to him, Ben, and be like, you don't know how to build this team. You never played this sport before. Brett, look him up, man. Brett Veach got some highlights there, a couple state championships, shifty running back there. So he's been very good as that right-hand man to Andy Reid. And the one thing you know with Andy Reid, if you are a good, productive servant under him, you have a job for life. And that's what he's got right now. He's doing a damn good job with it.
DRS, when the Chiefs got beat by the Buccaneers in Super Bowl 55 for much the same reason, the offense looked awful. The offensive line was terrible. That was priority number one for the Chiefs. They got back to the AFC Championship game the following season, but did fall to the Bengals. Plenty more around the NFL coming your way next.
Montreal has a new coach. Like, I might be the new coach in Montreal in 2 weeks. Like, they have a new coach all the time, and they always have, we're playing a new system. They're like, they have a bunch of 20-year-old players and kids on the pitch. Anyone that's good, they sell and they trade for money all the time. Like, it's a real disaster. But they hit a new low tonight, getting eliminated by the Forge.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
One that really sticks out to me the most, George, and he's having a fantastic season, is James Wood of the Washington Nationals. I mean, yes, Cal Raleigh's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. He's like a candidate for MVP of the American League. But every time I look up, George, James Wood is either getting 5 hits or being walked 4 times in a game. What a season for this guy.
And he's so young. What, he 22? So what a future this kid has ahead of him.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
The best white American prospect since Larry Bird. And think about how Larry Bird kind of came in Magic and transcended the game. We've talked about for a long time, LeBron's towards the end. KD's towards the end. Steph Curry's towards the end. Who is going to be the American face of basketball?
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
A historic week of contract extensions handed out around the National Football League. Sauce Gardner, a corner yesterday. Trey Smith, an offensive guard for the Kansas City Chiefs. Even wideouts getting paid this week, DRS, including Garrett Wilson on a Monday in New York. So there's another guy who has been in the NFL a little bit longer than Wilson and Gardner, but has been consistently productive despite a rotating cast and crew at the quarterback spot. Prior to 2024, Washington's Terry McLaurin. He's looking around, entering the final year of his deal, DRS, and asking, where's my payday? Let's hear from Terry McLaurin on how those contract negotiations have been going with the Commanders this offseason.
I haven't got to that part yet. It has been disappointing. Going into this offseason, I thought there was going to be more progress. And, I know those discussions were there at the beginning. And, since OTAs and minicamp, we haven't had any discussions. We haven't talked at all. And, that's tough, obviously with camp coming around the corner. And so I haven't thought that far yet to really, see what's next in the standpoint of leaving or not, because I want to be here. I want to make that abundantly clear. Like, I really appreciate this fan base, this city. This place has become my home. I've poured a lot of myself and given everything that I can every single day since I've been here, through the wins, losses, good, bad. And, at the end of the day, you do want to feel valued and you do want to feel appreciated. And I think, how the market is today, it pretty much that conveys what guys of my caliber are deserving of. And I feel like I fit that in that box.
I thought that was a really well-stated answer, DRS, from Terry McLaurin. And I think he hit on two major things. He has been a part of this Washington organization through some pretty devastating and dim times, especially both on the field and off of it. He now wants to be a part of the resurgence, and in the first year under Josh Harris, the new ownership group, Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury with the rookie record setter at the quarterback spot in Jaden Daniels, this Commanders team has so much optimism and feels like it finally, after 2 decades, has a stable foundation of which Terry McLaurin has helped build. And last year, DRS, much more of the same, 5 consecutive years out of McLaurin with at least 1,000 receiving yards. And in his first year with Daniels throwing him the football, a career best in receptions that led to a touchdown. 13 to be, in fact. His previous high was in his rookie year. He only had 7. He has been consistently productive despite issues at the quarterback spot. He is deserving of the payday. This is one of those that seems like a no-brainer for all parties involved. I do wonder why it's taken so long.
It does. It's interesting, too, because he had the rookie contract, right? And then he gets that extension for 3 years. And it's funny where sometimes you view players as a certain age. Like, sometimes you get, like, how old's Terry McLaurin? 25, 26, 27. I almost, equate it back to baseball, like Jacob deGrom. Like, hey, he's, 25. Like, whoa, what's his age at this point with the Mets? Like, how long has he actually been around? Because he is coming into his 30th league year, per se, right? So that's really the, if you're being honest, the back end of your prime. And I think Washington is being smart, saying, okay, we gave you a 3-year extension. You made some good money. We're going to give you another extension. That'll carry you through to you're 33, 34 years old, if you will. But a player's always going to look at a contract and say, I don't have any more guaranteed money. This is probably my last big deal. Look at all these contracts that people are getting now, but also understand this. A lot of these contracts are for players in their early 20s to mid-20s to late 20s, not their 30th year season. So I do think Washington is being smart, but Terry McLaurin is the player that you do want around, right? He does everything right. He's a great team guy. He's a big-time performer. Fits well in this offense. The previous, it was, who's the offensive coordinator slipping my mind here? That was their previous, Eric Bieniemy, who just made him run cardio. Yeah. He's now back into his mode like, hey, man, I have a quarterback room / wide receiver room and an offensive coordinator that's getting me the football. He does deserve to be paid, but it's interesting that Washington took that approach, Ben. Hey, I haven't heard in a couple months, really, from Washington on this, negotiation where Washington probably felt like this is the best deal we're probably going to get. Yes, you might be able to squeeze a little bit more late, but this doesn't sound good from either side because you're just like, hey, I talk to him every day. We'll get it done. And, both sides are open to talking. It doesn't sound like both sides are open to talking. And also with a quarterback on a rookie deal, usually you maximize your efforts there. It's interesting that Washington's taking that hard stance of, we're not even going to talk to you until you come back with us with a capable counteroffer to what we offered. It's interesting.
DRS, 9 guys now with the Garrett Wilson extension are set to make $30+ million per year in that new deal. Of those 9 guys, only 3 are 28+, DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, and the only 30-year-old is Tyreek Hill. I think it's just a matter of finding that sweet spot. I expect McLaurin to be out there and thriving in year number 7 for Washington. Hour number 2, Fashion Balloons next.